tired of government resolving every single problem we have when we're scared.
Thomas Jefferson said, if a society expects to be ignorant and free, it expects what never was and what never will be. And just as the minority stood up in the face of King George, so must Americans step forward. It's not just our privilege to do so. It's our obligation, it's our duty, and it's our sacred honor.
Mr. Shane Krauser.
It is an honor to have been asked to speak at this forum. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited for the things that are happening. Krista hit the nail on the head. The tide is turning in this country. I had a colleague of mine who is also a professor, and he had assigned his students to write a paper on the Constitution. And the papers were turned in, and he came across one paper that stuck out more than others, and it said this: too many people take the USS Constitution for granted. Really? As the director of the American Academy for Constitutional Education, I absolutely love this country. I love the Constitution. I love the principles that it stands for. And that's why we at the Academy are on a mission. We are on a mission of not just paying lip service to changing this country, but actually doing something about it, equipping the people. Any other issues? What are your thoughts? Any other thoughts? Right here in the front row.
Freedom.
Freedom. Yeah. There we go. What was your name? Stand up. Giovanni? Giovanni, you said freedom. You're hiding something? Okay. Giovanni, you said freedom. What is freedom?
Freedom is the ability to do what we wish without the government having to interfere with our lives.
Giovanni, I know you love America.
Yes, sir.
I love that. And I know that you recognize this. I want to give you a story, just share an experience with you of an individual by the name of Jim Clyburn. You know who Jim Clyburn is? He's a Democrat out of South Carolina. And he was asked this question. This question was, sir, can you tell me where in the Constitution the federal government has the authority to legislate something like health care? And here was his response. Where in the Constitution does it say that we can't? What is it? Well, who says boo? Come here. Come here. What was your name?
My name's Chris.
Chris, come on up. So Chris, here's what we're all about doing, guys. We embrace freedom. We revere the Constitution. You have incredible voices to go out and make a difference and make a change by bringing this debate to the streets. And this is a common misconception that your average American has about Congress and their ability to enact laws, and that is they can do anything they want. What's the problem with that?
Well, it's a free country, so you don't have to prove that something should be allowed. You don't have to say, well, why should we allow this? It's up to the government to say, well, why should we ban this? Because in a free country, the state of default is freedom. You don't have to prove that you should be able to do something. It's a free country. We are free.
Very good. Thank you. Oftentimes people will claim that the Constitution is the problem. It's the reason why we have all of these various issues going on in this country that, quite frankly, are negative. They're negative in their portrayal. They're negative in their impact. But the bottom line is the Academy takes a firm position, and it is unwavering, and it is this: the Constitution is not the problem. It is emphatically the answer. And that's what makes this so enjoyable, is that you bring people into this classroom and you don't talk about issues or agendas that various parties may have. You talk about the issue. And the issue is the Constitution. What is the purpose of this Constitution? Wait, hold on. You thought I wasn't going to come here. What was your name?
James Smith.
James. What is the purpose of the Constitution?
To reign in government, to protect us from them.
So how does the Constitution reign in government? How does it do this?
Enumerates its powers.
Very good. The Constitution enumerates powers. But this is the essence of a republic. And my hope is, as you go out on the streets doing the things that you do so well, that you will understand it's not just about freedom and liberty that you might agree with. It's about freedom and liberty for everyone.
Amen.
Right? We had an event over at my house, and my 9-year-old boy comes up and he says, Dad, he says, I want to ask this guy a question. I said, okay, raise your hand. He said, no, you raise my hand. I said, no, you're a sheepdog. You have courage. You're going to raise your hand, and you're going to ask him the question. He raises his hand, and here is the question this 9-year-old boy asked. Keep this in mind when you go out, boots on the ground. He says, sir, if you are elected to Congress, can you tell us where in the Constitution you derive your authority? He didn't know the answer. He said, he's done this to a couple candidates. One said Article 4. Another one said he didn't know. This is pathetic. That you have 9-year-old children wandering the streets, literally, going after these people running for the most powerful positions in the world, and they don't understand basic constitutional principles. So my 9-year-old boy understands this very simple principle. If they don't understand it, Dad, we got to run them out. There were people 225 years ago who stood on the shores of the Delaware River. This is George Washington's army. I want you to think about this as you watch this debate tonight. Do we have another George Washington who's willing to do exactly what he did? Think about this. This man is on the shores of the Delaware River, and he had been running because he continued to lose battle after battle. And here he is with 2,500 troops. I often ask myself, would I be standing there with him as one of those 2,500 troops? Because just months before, he had 25,000 troops. Only 1 in 10 had the courage to be with George Washington on December 25th, 1776. And a third of those 2,500 troops had no shoes. They had no shoes, they had wrapped their feet in burlap, and they were ready to go to battle and cross the Delaware and go after the wolves, those that would seek to infringe on their right to do what that which they wanted to do. Are you a sheepdog?
Yes!
Absolutely. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do this together. We're going to take this country back. We're going to support those people that understand these principles. And we are going to restore this Constitution back to its original intent, but it's going to take each and every one of us to go out and use our voices to make a difference. Thank you so much for having me. And what we've seen go on in this country is an absolute disaster. And we often hear, sometimes, that the problem is too big to fix. Don't believe it for a minute. Do not believe that this problem is too big to fix. Benjamin Franklin said that it is in the regions of ignorance that tyranny begins. At the end of the day, it's the responsibility of each one of us as Americans to go back to our various areas of the country, to promote the cause of liberty, to advocate liberty, and to support the idea that the Constitution and its principles can solve nearly every one of the ills that this country is dealing with today. If the Constitution fails, freedom ultimately fails, and we all lose, regardless of whether you're a conservative, a liberal, a Republican, Democrat, or independent. America, rise up. Do those things that our founding fathers would expect us to do. Advocate freedom and support its principles.